Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Rachel Williams begins now.
The Tasmania Fire Service is currently fighting a structure fire at Lachlan. Crews were called to the rural property just outside New Norfolk shortly after 3:30 this afternoon, finding it fully engulfed. The wooden 3-storey building has been destroyed, with firefighters remaining on the scene trying to contain flare-ups. Investigations into the cause are underway, with damage estimates still to be determined. The state government is being told to pick up a shovel and start digging. Industry groups are rallying to see more roads and projects take shape as the government prepares a key piece of legislation.
The COVID ceasefire is over.
They've absolutely failed Tasmanians when it comes to infrastructure in this state.
No, you see, again, Labor are just wrong.
But as both sides bicker over building, the construction industry warns 1,200 jobs have been wiped out since the shutdown.
We've seen a worrying deterioration in the pipeline of residential and commercial construction projects.
Today they released a plan to unlock $1 billion in projects, arguing big ticket items should be brought forward. The RACT says some cash is already there.
We're calling on money that has already been promised to the West Tamar Highway to be brought forward and for the works to commence there, and also for money to fix the Bass Highway at Boat Harbour.
Labor says blueprints for the Hobart Airport roundabout upgrade are gathering dust.
We've had 4 years and we still don't have a detailed design that's gone public. It is simply not good enough.
We've already upgraded that roundabout and we now have a contract with Hazel Brothers for a $50 million interchange.
The government is now in the stages of finalising its major projects bill. There will be one new project added to the mix. Private education provider Foundry has confirmed it will be involved in the development of a new creative precinct in Launceston.
This is a project of Launceston City Council working closely on a very exciting proposal for the Launceston CBD. I am, and the Tasmanian government is supportive, but it is for the council to make that announcement in the fullness of time.
That announcement is expected in the coming month. Sean McComish, 7 Tasmania News.
Tasmania has now gone 15 days without any new coronavirus cases. The number of active cases dropped from 6 to 5 overnight, with 2 of those being monitored in hospital. From tomorrow, hospital visitation restrictions will begin to ease across the state. A maximum of 1 visitor per patient will be allowed across most wards between 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. Further announcements on easing restrictions are expected in the coming days. More than 500 tests were processed yesterday, and Public Health is urging anyone displaying respiratory symptoms to book in for a test. A Tasmanian football icon is being remembered as a humble legend of the game and a family man with a wicked sense of humour. John Leedham died yesterday at the age of 92, but his legacy lives on at his beloved North Hobart Oval.
John Leedham's family standing side by side with his football jumpers from the 50s. The woolen Guernsey's a treasured memory of the 92-year-old who died yesterday.
The best granddad you could ask for. Had nothing but time for the kids. As I said, brought me to the footy every week, and they were really fond memories for me growing up.
He was a warm and engaging man, a man that loved his family and his friends and his footy.
While Tasmanians will remember John as a legend of the game, his family reflecting on life at home.
For me, he was really humble, he was really well liked and had an amazing sense of humour.
Such a celebrated man on the field, off the field, obviously very entertaining, so I think he'll be remembered for a long time.
His pictures pride of place in the North Hobart club rooms, a showcase of natural homegrown talent.
He was one of the greats in a golden era for Tasmanian football throughout the 50s and 60s.
Leedham took North Launceston to 3 state premierships and served a stint as captain coach before steering North Hobart to a celebrated flag in 1957. He also led Tasmania to famous wins against South Australia and Western Australia in 1958.
You get an idea from everyone else, but not from him, of course, but from everyone else of just how good he was.
His legacy to inspire generations to come, with his name to go alongside John Devine's on the coaches and media box. At the peak of his career, he was recruited by Melbourne, only to have his hopes of a VFL debut cruelled by a knee injury.
There's no question that John Leedham sits comfortably in the top 10 footballers that Tasmania's produced. And I also think it's fair to say that he's the greatest Tasmanian player that didn't get to play in the VFL, AFL.
Leadham's status was cemented when he was named vice-captain in the Tasmanian football team of the century. At the time, he was thrilled.
I'm in the Tasmanian Hall of Fame team, vice-captain and then a legend, and now this is unreal, you know.
Louise Huber, 7 Tasmania News.
Firefighters are warning Tasmanians not to let their homes become winter death traps. Their message is simple: install a working smoke alarm or risk becoming a fatality.
It's a simple check and it could save a life. 8-year-old Ava Oakley knows a thing or two about ensuring her family is prepared in case of a fire.
You need every smoke alarm in every room, at the top of the stairs and in the hallway. Because if there was a fire, if you didn't have any, you wouldn't hear that there was one.
After a visit from her local brigade at school last year, Ava helped her family put together a fire safety plan. It's something strongly recommended by our fire service, with winter one of their busiest times of the year.
Winter brings on additional threats in the family home. There are things like heating. We encourage people to make sure that their wood heaters are regularly checked by a professional.
The TFS attends an average of 350 house fires each year. Most, they say, could be prevented. A proactive approach. Simple things like not leaving cooking or candles unattended and making sure appliances aren't faulty could make a significant impact.
Leaving a device on at night on charge, leaving the oven on or something like that, and putting clothes on the heater.
It's vigilance and ensuring that whatever the instruction from the manufacturer is followed.
Ebony Ablett, 7 Tasmania News.
An adventurous Launceston feline is safely back home after embarking on a 2-month mission solo across Tasmania. Boof the cat took to the highway in early April, leaving his distraught owners fearing for the worst.
Boof Crawford finally back enjoying the comforts of home. His story a true tale of survival.
So lucky. It's just amazing. I can't believe it. Absolutely cannot believe it. It was just out of this world.
At the start of April, when most of us were under strict COVID-19 lockdowns, Boof was on a mission to take on the world, leaving his owners distraught for 2 months.
He's just the most gorgeous, loving cat.
That was until last week when the stars aligned. The slightly dishevelled traveller was discovered bunking out in South Hobart, 200 kilometres, 2.5 hours away from his Launceston home.
We've heard of cats that get into cars, get into trucks and those sorts of things. So I doubt Boof had the paw out hitchhiking to Hobart.
A resident found him, contacted the Tasmanian Lost Pet Register, who alerted 10 lives.
I saw the post and I thought, that's Boof. Showed hubby. He said, yeah. So we switched photos with the lady Alicia down there and they thought it was a match.
Oh, I thought it was amazing and that, it really was him.
So Audra and Shane headed south for the big rendezvous.
Very emotional. I just can't believe that he was in Hobart. And I know he wasn't microchipped, but we found him.
9-year-old Boof's gained a wealth of life experience, gaining a few scars along the way. Thankfully, the tree change wasn't to last. He's very content back in Prospect Vale.
One thing that Boof does is chew my fingers, but playfully, and that's one of the very first things he did.
And just how the adventure began remains one of Tasmania's biggest mysteries, a story only Boof can tell.
The doors are shut, the windows are shut, he's not going anywhere.
Louise Huber, 7 Tasmania News.
Good evening everyone. Some rain across the state today with Hobart reaching 16 degrees, Launceston, Devonport and Burnie all reaching a top of 14. Around the state, 16 in St Helens and Friendly Beaches, the islands, Low Head and Ouse, 15, 14 in Grove and Strawn and a cool 6 degrees in Lyowini. Low cloud can be seen covering much of the state today. And across Australia, cloud associated with a cold front can be seen over the Tasman Sea, with low cloud following about the southeastern states. Convective cloud can be seen about the east coast of the mainland, with generally clear skies inland. Tomorrow's chart shows a cold front crossing Tasmania. A high builds over Western Australia, extending a ridge over Central Australia. North to northwesterly winds 15 to 25 knots tomorrow, reaching 30 knots in the west. And there is a gale warning current from Sandy Cape to Stanley for southwesterly winds. A strong wind warning is also current from southeast Cape to Sandy Cape and from Stanley to the northern tip of Flinders Island. Partly cloudy and 16 in Hobart tomorrow, 14 in Dover, morning fog and 15 in Ouse. Launceston and Devonport, showers clearing and 14, 12 in Scottsdale. Showers and 14 in Burnie and Stanley, Strawn, showers and 15. And in the east, 15 in St Helens, partly cloudy and 16 in Swansea, and a shower or 2 in Ross. Looking on to Tuesday now, showers about the west, far south and the Bass Strait Islands. Showers about the west, far south and southeast coast on Wednesday, clearing in the afternoon. And on Thursday, fine apart from light showers about the west and far south. 21 in Perth tomorrow, Adelaide 14, showers in Melbourne and 26 in Brisbane. And currently Hobart 12 and partly cloudy, 10 degrees in Launceston and cloudy, and Devonport 11 and also cloudy. And Rach, that's the weather tonight.
Wonderful, thanks for that, Chelsea. Well, that's all your news for now. Thanks for joining us. Take care and good night.